Hello and welcome to the Cannon County Chamber Connection. And of course, this as always is presented to us by DTC, and we appreciate all that they do for the chamber and for the community. And this is one of the things they do where we can let you know who's who and what's going on in Cannon County. So this is March, and it's supposed to come in like a lamb and go out like a lion, or vice versa, come in like a lion and go out like a lamb. The trees are budding, the flowers are blooming, and it feels like it's going to snow out there, so I don't know what we're getting here. But anyway, I'm ready for summer, and I'm ready for some events to start happening. And of course, as March and April and May come into it, the calendar does start filling up with a lot of good things, or we hope they're good things anyway. We do want to remind you first thing that daylight savings time will go into effect on Sunday, March 11th. So you spring forward, you move your clocks forward an hour. And we do have guests with us today. We have several, and we're proud to have them and come on and tell what they do and what's important to them. And the first one we have is Courtney Nichols. And Courtney, you are a CTE director at Cannon County High School, right?
Yes, I'm the Career and Technical Director for Cannon County Schools, and I am in charge of all the what used to be called the vocational programs. We have now changed that name to Career and Technical Education. So agriculture, family and consumer sciences, health sciences, business programs.
That's a long title.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I've almost forgot what you and I discussed because you were supposed to be on the show a couple of months ago.
One of the things that we're trying to do, and we found a need that area businesses are needing as far as employees that are career ready. And that is our goal at Cannon County High School, as along with all the other Upper Cumberland schools in our district, is that we're wanting students to be career ready when they graduate from Cannon County High School or the other schools. And one of the things that we've discussed is creating a work ethics diploma distinction. And this distinction allows employers to realize that these students have met certain criteria. We are, as I said, we've come up with a criteria based for these students, and some of the things would be attendance records, discipline records. It would also be whether they have participated in extracurricular activities. We have developed a checklist, and with this checklist, these students, we will keep up with this at the school, and as the students complete this distinction, area businesses, if they sign on with us with a memorandum of understanding, the businesses guarantee these students a job interview, simply just a job interview. And that allows area businesses to have a greater workforce base, that we know that we're putting out a quality student for their businesses. We're really excited about this program. We're proposing this to the school board in the next month. We are also going to, we have talked to several area businesses in Cannon County, and along with several in the Upper Cumberland district that are tying on with this. As I said, it is at no cost to the businesses, but the only agreement that they have is that if they have a position open, that they would agree to interview these students. Great program. We're really excited to roll this out. I've actually talked to some area businesses in Cannon County, and they're very excited about this because.
Oh, good.
And one of the biggest things, like we said, was that we want to have students that are ready to go right into career ready. So as soon as they leave the high school, that they're ready to go into the job market. And
because there's some that won't take advantage or won't be able to get a higher education.
this is correct.
And there are those students out there. And even with the free technical and state tuition now, there's still some that, and that's great. I mean, to be able to go 2 years to a technical or a state school tuition-free. And really, the requirements for that aren't that stringent,
Correct.
you know, but this, excuse me, this is something that they can do right out of high school. And if they decide to go on a little later, there's always night courses.
With this distinction, and we had, like I said, we had talked back in December with our advisory council, and one of the biggest complaints that area employers have is having students to show up to work on time, having students to understand their job responsibilities.
Work ethics.
And work ethics. And so that's what we're trying to combat at this point at the high school, is so that maybe we can get these students to understand the importance of this and then carry this on into the workforce.
Well, I think that's great. I don't have one complaint with that. So if you can pull that off, and if you can get kids to really think about what they're going to do. You know, even children that have gone to college, when they graduate, a lot of times they're not really ready. They don't have a clue when they go in what it's going to take to be an employee. Not all of them, but a lot of them don't.
Correct.
They get out of college and they go, what now? You know, somebody's going to come get me. I've been to college. Well, it doesn't always work that way.
You are correct.
So you said you're going to take into account like their attendance and something else.
Attendance and tardiness and discipline records. And so these students will accumulate points throughout the school year, throughout their senior year. And with this, the school will keep up. We have a chart that we'll just keep up with.
Are they going to take some classes too, or some, you know, one-on-one, an hour or something of talking about what it's like to work in a business?
These students, the majority of our students that are in career and technical education, our classes are geared towards this type of environment. So that is our primary focus, is trying to prepare them for going into the career field of their choice.
So they're already taking classes?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think that's good. Now, where are you at this point, Courtney, with
At
this?
this point, we have the final draft completed. We are, at this point, I'm going before the school board in April to ask for permission to proceed with this. And if upon approval, then what we're looking for is maybe area businesses to sign on with us to agree to this. If they agree to this, we'll have on the back of the flyer that we have, we'll list their area logo, and so that they will have their business advertised, I guess, with this. With this is recognized.
But they do have to have a job available at that time.
Correct. And that, like I said, that is the only one agreement that the company would have, is that they would provide an interview for that if there was a position available. Hopefully, if we can expand this program, that area businesses then will have a database of these students' email addresses, so the businesses can actually reach out to the students and say, hey, listen, we have a position available. Would you be interested in coming and apply?
Well, that's great.
So-
And you know, you're going for approval from the school board. I'm trying to think of a downside to this. That would be some reason why they wouldn't approve this. I'm
This is
trying to think of okay,
This
so
is a
what's wrong?
win-win for everyone. So.
Yeah.
I think this is great, and I think that we need some more things like this.
Well, thank you.
Definitely.
Because when I appreciate the fact, Courtney, that you're taking the time, because I know this has taken some time
Yes, ma'am.
to put together, and I'd say it's not over yet.
No, ma'am.
Keeping track of all those things is going to take you a little while.
We're hoping, like I said, we're hoping to roll this out in the 2018-2019 school year.
Right. Well, I think that's good that they have goals to work toward. That's fine.
And they get recognized for
Absolutely.
coming in every day and not being tardy.
Correct.
And I forgot, what did you offer as an incentive to them?
To the students?
Yes.
They will, like I said, they will receive distinction on their diploma, and they will also have a cord that they will wear at graduation,
Oh,
recognizing them that they completed the coursework.
The distinction.
At this stage, we're going to just, at next year, we're going to just have it on a volunteer basis to see if they're interested. And I would love to have this to where it's just almost a requirement for all high school graduates at Cannon County High School to go through this program.
Well, I agree with you. I don't see a bad side. Do you, Greg?
No, definitely need that. Definitely need it.
Well, we thank you for coming and sharing this with us, and we'll have you come back after the school year next year and see how this is proceeding.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you're very welcome. Okay, the next one we're going to have is Mr. Greg Goff, and Greg is everything real estate, because he is a realtor and an auctioneer for Exit Realty, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we do auctions statewide.
And how is this going for you? Because our real estate there for a while was quite stagnant. Not so much anymore, is it?
It's not so much anymore. We've come out of recession, of course. The market has been very, very good. Prices, the biggest problem we're seeing now is prices are increasing so fast that a lot of buyers are being left out of the market. Homes that we sold 4 years ago for $130,000 that were our starter home base are now selling for $170 to $180. Well, that tends to knock a lot of buyers out that can't qualify for that much money.
Right.
But we have a short supply right now, a very high demand, and of course that's simple economics. When you have no supply and a high demand, prices keep going up.
We do have a short supply.
Very short supply.
At the chamber, I have people in there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I gave them your card.
Yes.
Did they call you?
Probably so. I get several calls a day, especially on Mondays, probably 80 to 100 calls a day on Mondays.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Mondays are a busy, busy day because everybody's been out looking over the weekend and they decide to call up Monday morning and ask questions. But the biggest thing is, like I said, the prices, the appraisals are holding steady and they keep raising. People hear the prices and they go, what? You know, the same, like I said, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,300 square foot house now is selling for $170,000 in Cannon County. Even more in Murfreesboro. You're up to $200,000 in Murfreesboro.
That's what I was going to say. I had a couple that came in last week, and they were from Illinois, and they were moving down here because their son had moved to McMinnville. But they liked this area.
Yes, we actually have a better real estate market than McMinnville, Manchester, or Smithville. We're second, I would say, behind Murfreesboro in this area as far as real estate market. Our prices are more expensive. We have more demand because we are a bedroom community in Murfreesboro. We're so close that people are wanting this area, but yet we do not have the supply. We don't have the
We
new
don't
subdivision being
have
built.
traffic.
No, we don't have traffic, exactly.
And that's the first thing they tell me,
That's a big
even
thing.
in Murfreesboro, it's the traffic is the issue.
It is. Traffic is getting to be horrible down there.
Nashville, the prices.
I travel 3 or 4 different counties just about every day, and yes, the traffic in Murfreesboro is much worse than anywhere else.
Well,
much worse.
it's, it didn't, it's growing. It doesn't stop growing. I thought it would
No.
slow down, but I don't believe it's going to.
There's a number of how many people are moving to Murfreesboro every day, but like I said, we're getting the overflow because
Yeah.
people can't find a house down there, so now they're coming out to us and looking out this way.
Well, one reason was there for a while we were cheaper than Murfreesboro.
We were.
And I think in some cases we still are, because I've had people come in that said they had looked down there
Mm-hmm.
and they just couldn't afford, a house that
Yeah.
was even similar. And of course, everybody, they want maybe 5 acres, maybe a little less.
Everybody wants 5 acres in
Yeah.
a house. That is in very high demand. If you've got anything to sell that's got 5 acres in a house, you're sitting on a gold mine right now because that's the
And
highest
it's not
property.
close to a rock quarry.
Yes, not close to Rockford. That always helps also. That's a problem we have. That's, I've been kind of arguing about the zoning laws. We do need zoning in a way.
So badly.
We need it. We do need
So
it to protect
badly.
our homeowners, our residential neighborhoods, because just like down at the flashing lights, we've had a big problem down there with people's homes, blasting. People don't want to be around that blasting.
I've been down there when they blasted.
It'd
You
shake,
know,
it'll run under you. It'll
the
shake you
person
up.
I was with thought it was an earthquake.
Yeah, it
I
will
thought,
shake you up when they blast, sure enough. And now they've opened up the new rock quarry up here, which is,
Oh, yeah, you should
opened
be
it
in the
back up.
art center when that thing goes off.
can imagine.
It shakes the whole building. Mm-hmm. It does.
I know the one in Bradeville, the area down there, they're actually warning residents you can get on a phone call list before they blast. So if you're live in that area and you want to know, call Verda Rock Crusher, put them on a phone list. They will call you before they blast.
You know, before they put that rock quarry in at the flashing light, a gentleman came into the chamber office and told me, he didn't tell me they were putting in a rock quarry. He told me that they were bringing industry to Cannon County, and I thought, okay. And I says, where is this industry located? And he told me where it was. But he was very secretive about what it was, and he kind of kept beating around the bush, and he says, well, I'm not at liberty to say that yet. So I kept talking to him for a while, and I told him, I says, you're putting in a rock crush, a quarry. And he said, well, yeah, and he was with some company out of Iowa, and they did. They'd already done their homework. It was already a done deal by that point.
Well, I'm a member of the industrial board also here in the county, and the new asphalt company that showed up, we didn't even get news about that. They just bought the property and opened the asphalt company. They didn't even call us or even talk to us.
Well, I'll
That was a
tell you, I'll
surprise
give
to
you
us,
a
too.
heads up. Now, this has been, when the rock quarry at the flashing light opened, it was right about that, right before then. And he said that their company was looking at 3 more spots in Cannon County.
And that's scary. That's real scary.
It is.
That's why I said,
And I've told everybody that. I thought you're going to wait.
well, zoning is one of those things, people don't want it until it affects them.
I know.
Until something moves
Well-
in next door, a gun range or a rock quarry comes in next door, and people say, well, we need zoning, but the ones that are fighting it are the ones that don't live next to that. But when it opens up next to them, they want to complain, oh, yes, we need zoning. Well, we need it.
Well, I did have someone call me after the rock quarry, and it was so, everybody was so upset down there. And I thought, well, no one did know this, because by the time the man talked to me, it was already done.
Right. And that was one of our best-selling areas. When you get to the west side of Cannon
Yeah.
County, our prices are much, much higher on the west side than they are the east side. Much, much higher.
Well, it wasn't after all of the commotion came up and the neighbors all got upset. There was a man called me and said they were they were looking at putting in a gentleman's club, and they had heard
geez.
we didn't have any zoning in Cannon County. And I says, no, not in the county, we don't. And I says, and I have the perfect place for you. I says, we can put you down there by the rock quarry. And he goes, the what? And I said,
Right.
we can put you by the
And
rock quarry.
that could happen. That's what I've been telling people. That could happen.
It could
It could
happen.
happen right here on John Bragg Highway, just outside of town. It could happen. You know, we're regulated. We're actually on the industrial board. We're kind of, our hands are tied because we don't have 3-phase electric down John Bragg Highway.
No, it's all about the facilities
Yes,
there.
we don't have the infrastructure that we really
No.
need for a good industry, so we're getting this other industry that don't use this, or like there is 3-phase there at the flashing light, but we've had a lot of companies want to locate here, but they couldn't because of our utility situation, our infrastructure situation.
And see, I don't see that changing. I mean, you're looking at a lot of hills and hollows, and probably the best level land that you have is out toward Manchester
It
when you
is.
go out.
It
You know,
is.
you get up at the top of the hill.
It is. We've met with TVA about that, and I've mentioned that to TVA. They still want to go toward Murfreesboro because of the traffic count. They don't want to, we said our best property, we've got road frontage on different roads out on Manchester Highway. That's good level ground that would actually accommodate the septic needs of companies, but TVA doesn't want to help us go that way.
And that's the first thing companies ask about is, do you have water and sewer?
And
And you don't blame them.
three-phase electric. Three-phase
Yeah.
electric's a big one too. And unfortunately, down our new highways, we've got some great highways, the 4-lane going to McMinnville, but if you'll go down the 4-lane to McMinnville, there's no water lines and there's no utility lines along the 4-lane.
Right.
We're fighting that battle right now on a piece of land. We've got a company who wants to buy it, but we don't have 3-phase electric, we don't have water, we don't have gas. I think we've got the electric worked out, but the water and gas is going to be a different story.
There's just some things, you know, even when the Upper Cumberland comes down and talks to us and we go to those meetings and everything, they tell us what the problems are. We know what the problems are.
We know what the problems
They just
are.
don't have any solutions.
We don't, because it costs so much money to run those
Oh, yeah.
utilities that, the companies coming here don't want to pay for that. And as a county, we can't afford to pay for it for them, like some of the bigger counties.
Right.
I mean, you take somewhere like Knoxville, Oak Ridge, they've come together and formed a partnership. And they've got a great partnership between themselves, but they're huge towns, and they've got unlimited resources. Here, we're very limited on what we can and can't do.
That's the key to everything. It is, whether you want to say it is or not. But zoning of some type is definitely needed. And I think what everybody, well, I know what everybody thinks is, I don't want to have to buy a permit to
Right.
build a shed or put up a fence. Well, there's certain types of agricultural
Well-
zoning that you can,
Exactly, and just
Get
like
into-
Murfreesboro, it's like, we're not going to be doing that. We don't want that, to tell people what you can and can't do with your property. We just want to be able to stop these companies from coming in and on the scenic John Bragg Highway, putting in a gentleman's club.
well, I think that guy, I never did hear any more about it, but for some reason I wanted to think this is somebody who's taken advantage of all this commotion about,
My
they
big-
were just
My biggest fear,
pulling my chain, but it could happen.
is a landfill here.
Well, I heard that last year.
That's my biggest fear, is because they're wanting to close the one in Rutherford County, and they're looking for a site to move it.
Yep.
And
And I think they've already spied one.
I'm sure they have, because we're a prime target. We're a
Right.
prime target. We're close by, we have no zoning.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't want rock quarries
will
in the
hurt us.
dump. I'm
That
just
will hurt us,
sorry.
yes. We need some good businesses that, contribute to the economy, not hurt it. And those are hurting it.
Who would have ever thought that trash would be such a problem? But it is.
With the population getting bigger and bigger all the time, I mean,
And we don't recycle.
Nope.
We don't really take that serious, and you're going to have to.
You're going to have to, yes.
You
are.
know, you're like, big cities do that, and they recycle. It does take a little more time, to separate your glass and your plastic and
Well, I know
cans
several
and-
surrounding counties, and of course, I don't have to tell you about the problem we've had with the waste disposal recently here in the county.
Right.
But I know surrounding counties have theirs. I know over around Wilson County and Statesville area, they have it set up where you put cardboard here, you put metal here, your kitchen trash goes in this bin. They've got it set up really nice.
And you
it's-
have to, that's what it's going to come to.
it needs to be.
Yeah, it really is. And
And they
like I
wouldn't-
say, it takes a little more time, but,
You will not throw stuff away up there that they won't allow. I'll tell you that. They watch it.
oh, I know. But you would have never thought, see, when I grew up, we all had trash pits. You burnt your trash.
Yes.
Except for the bottles and the cans and everything, and everybody had one in their yard.
Mm-hmm.
Ours looked like a little igloo back there, and you threw all the trash.
Burn barrels. Yeah, like I said, the housing market's still doing good though, but luckily, hopefully, we won't get anything else that will hurt us. That's the biggest thing, because you get a piece of property right by one of those sites, and it's
Well, see,
tough
they
to sell
don't,
it.
they can
Tough to
come in
move.
here and they don't really have to notify anybody.
No, they didn't even, like I said, the asphalt plant didn't even notify the industrial board. That
No,
was a total
the
shock to
first
us.
I knew about that, I knew something was going in there, but was when they did the write-up in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like an apology beforehand.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's not going to smell and it's not going to do
And
this
if
and
you come
that,
up
but
there
it
and you see
is.
it on the highway, it's not an attractive eyepiece. It's an eyesore. I can already tell it's going to be an eyesore. These big metal facility, and it's, half of it's
Well,
rusted,
it's an
half of it's
asphalt
painted.
plant,
Yeah.
it's,
It's not going to be pretty to look at.
and it's going to smell.
I know when they built the John Bragg Highway, they restricted against billboards. I'd take the billboards
Well,
any day.
I
I'll take the
remember
billboards
one
any day.
time when someone had taken it before the county, they didn't want neon lights in Woodbury because of the gas that they emitted. And I thought, there's a lot worse things
Yes.
than neon
Yeah.
lights. I think we may need a few, I'm not sure, but anyway, I just wanted to know where we were at on housing. I know that there's a lot of people looking for housing.
Yep. We got a high demand and short supply.
Yeah, we
So if you're
do.
thinking about selling, I always tell people right now, if you're looking at selling, they call me up. My first question to them is, where are you going? Because you got to have somewhere to go right now. If you don't, you're going to be stuck. You're going to sell your house quick, and you're going to have nowhere to go. You're going to be living in a hotel or a camper.
You have a lot of people that are moving in here that aren't from Rutherford County. They're from out of state.
Illinois, Indiana. You'd be surprised how many people
Yes.
move here from Indiana. We get a lot of people here from Indiana. A few from Florida, a few from California.
Florida, when they have a hurricane, down there, and then you get the people from Florida, because I had them tell me they were moving further inland.
I think we get to watch from Indiana because of the roads. I was just in Indiana last week, and the roads are terrible. So I was like, yeah, I think they're moving down here because of the roads.
Well, it's cold up there. They've been getting a lot of snow everywhere. Hey, it's cold down here today.
It is,
So-
yes.
Okay, Greg, anything else you want to tell us?
That's it right now. Just like I said, if you're thinking about selling, just be sure you have somewhere to go first.
Okay, Marcia, you are the director of the library system here in Cannon County, which includes Auburn Town.
Yes.
And what you got, you have something going on here all the time.
We do, and thank you for having me. Got a couple things. This Thursday, for our story time, we do story time Thursdays at 10:30, and we're going to be reading this book. I don't
okay.
want to be a frog.
Well, me neither.
And a couple others. And, we just have a good time. We turn the video recorder on, and the kids sing and dance a little, and we tell stories, and then we all do a craft. They're going to make a frog.
You got to get them up and move them around so they burn up some of that energy, so they'll pay attention when you get to this other.
Exactly. So that's our
All right,
Thursday.
how are your technical Tuesdays going?
Well, we had a couple people show up. So it's, I think they're great classes. It's informal. It's about 10, 15 minutes of talking about the app, demonstrating it, and then the rest is just time spent with the person.
Yeah.
If they want to put it on their phone, we'll help them, or if they just have questions and want to learn a little bit more. It's just very informal, and it's Tuesday at 10 a.m. and 5:30 at night. Now, the 5:30 at night is every other week, so you have to check on that. But this coming Tuesday is the Google Play Store. Now, those that do the apps know that that's where you go to get an app. But if you're brand new to the smartphone or a tablet, you might not understand that. And you can come in, and we're going to show you all about Google Play. And that's, Google Play, you can see how apps are rated. Go ahead.
If you get a smartphone and you haven't ever had one before, you better come to this. I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
if you've never used one before, you're going to need help.
Well, the Google Play Store, I know when I first got mine years ago, it was, it's like I didn't want to go to the Google Play Store because I didn't want to pay for anything. It's all free. It's like, no, well, I mean, they're not all free, but they're free, and then there's, minimal charges. But then that night, Tuesday night, March 13th, we're going to do Instagram. So we'll be covering Instagram. And the following week is Libby. Now, Libby is an app that you download books from, and it's a Tennessee State app. And so that's free. Downloading those books are free there. And then we're going to do all recipes. I think that would be interesting.
Now, people are interested in that.
Yeah. And we're going to cover Facebook, and then in April we get to eBay. So that's what we're doing on the Tech Tuesday. You can call up to get the schedule, or you can stop by and we have schedules printed and you can pick up a schedule.
Right.
And we're also doing one more quick thing.
That's fine.
Is we have a World Travelers Program, and this is just drop in, and it's for children. Drop in and they can go to different stations, and their first station is they make themselves a little passport.
Oh,
and
well,
they just have to
that's
stick
cool.
that on there, and then it looks like a passport.
Oh, it
And
does?
then and then this
You
one's
take their
short.
picture?
Well, we thought of that. Later this year we might, but not this month. But last month we did England. This month we're doing Germany. And you go to different stations and you color the flag. There's different activities. And when you're all done, you come up to the desk and we stamp your passport.
Oh,
that you
all
have
right.
now knowledge of Germany or the different countries. So that's what we're doing. And it's also,
Well,
it
that's
is
good.
Women's History Month. And so each week we're
Picking a woman in history, right?
a book about a woman, yes. And so wanted to.
Well,
bring
that's
that
all
to-
good. And, school really here we are in March, April, May, they're going to be out, so you'll be starting your children's programs at
Summer
the
reading
library.
program, you bet.
Yeah.
And we have great programs lined up for that already.
Okay.
Yeah, we're excited. Very
All
excited.
right, dear.
So we appreciate the community. We hope the community comes in to visit.
They should.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you have quite a bit in the summer when the kids are out, don't you?
Yeah, we
It's
do.
quite active
Yeah.
with it. Well, that's good. I think the library's a good thing. I do, especially for little kids.
I do too.
Well, I think for older people too, but I think little kids like to come to the library, so,
They do. Section.
you know, they think that's big time. They have a great genealogy.
We have a
area, too.
beautiful library.
Yeah, we
Absolutely
do.
Beautiful library.
We do.
The people that have put their time and their energy and their money into this library are wonderful, wonderful. And it's just,
Well, in fact, we're at the library today because they were having children's shows at the Art Center today, so I had to find another location, but I love it here. This is fine.
good. We're happy to have you.
All right, well, we'll be back another time this month because they have conservatory that will be coming up, and I'll have to use the library, so.
No.
Okay, Marcia, and I might tell you a little something else about Marcia. She's the vice president of the Chamber of Commerce this year, too. She didn't have enough to do, so she took that on. We appreciate you being with us, Marcia. And we appreciate the library, even though I don't come. But when I get a smartphone, because the phone I have came over on the Mayflower, and I really don't stay on it that long. And so I thought, it works fine. I don't text. You know, I can take pictures with it, but I don't. You know, it's so funny because my grandkids text me,
Oh, that
and
is-
they'll say, well, I text you, and I says, I don't text. I don't read it. I says, you call me if you want to talk to me.
you just don't have the right smartphone.
I don't have a smartphone, period. Okay, girls, you've been out there waiting patiently, listening to all this. I have two ladies here with me, and this is Cassell Davis. And what is your title, Cassell?
I'm the coordinator for the Child Advocacy Center in Cannon County. And so I provide services to children and families in this county, in Cannon County, only Cannon County.
And her partner in crime is Angie Sexton. And you have worked with the Child Advocacy Center for a while too, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the community education coordinator. So I do the Darkness to Light training about prevention of child sexual abuse. I do that both in Rutherford and in Cannon County
Right.
as well.
And Cassell, you're with the office right here in Cannon County, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in the office in Cannon County. We're located on Water Street. We provide services to children who have been sexually abused. We do forensic interviews there. We do those hand in hand with DCS and law enforcement. We also provide a DEC program where we do in-home counseling with children whose parents are currently using drugs or have used in the past. These services are free to the community. They are all paid for through grants and through fundraisers. And we go to the families because not everyone can afford to go out of county for services. Cannon County doesn't really have any services like this. Most families have to go to Rutherford County, Coffee County, or Warren County to be able to obtain the services they need. So with these programs, we go to families, or they can come to our center also.
You know, I guess I think this is a good thing. I'm just sad because we need them. And because it happens, and it happens in every community, so don't think that you're immune to them for whatever reason, because it does happen. Drugs are in every county, in every community. And that's probably the bottom line to a lot of this that you have to deal with.
Yes, ma'am, it is. Drugs are in every county and every community. They're in schools. I don't think that there is a, area that does not have drugs in this day and time, which is sad to say. I work with some children have been placed with family members because their parents are using drugs. So I help ease that transition, provide services to the children, and I can also provide services to the parents and help them make a sober plan. And help them find the services that they need for their addiction. Or to help them if they're in recovery, and to help them continue their recovery and provide support to them while also providing support to the children, because that's a lot for children to have to go through when they have to leave their family and move to another family, whether they know them or it's a family they don't know.
You know, kids can't help how their home life is a lot of times. They can't help what their parents do. Just like a lot of times you can have good parents, but for some reason the kids get mixed up in something that you're finding it hard to control. And once they're into it, it's difficult to get them out of it. But these little kids that have to live in these situations, they don't have any choice. You know, they can't just pack up and move to another city. I mean, unless they're taken from the family
Yes.
and given to somebody.
Yes, ma'am, and that's something that DCS does. And we are not part of DCS, we are a nonprofit. And again, everything that we do is paid for through the grants that we receive and through fundraisers. And so our referrals come from DCS, or they come from someone in the court system, juvenile court, the YSO officer, different people like that. Then I've also had families call me and say, hey, can you come and work with us? We need help. The domestic violence shelter is also giving us referrals. And, you know, every situation is different with every family. Some families need help with communication skills and have forgotten how to talk to each other and are yelling and screaming at each other. And part of that is the effects of drugs. And it's very unique to watch a family transform when they learn how to communicate with each other, and they're getting along better, and then they want to start trying in other aspects to heal their family to be able to move forward. And some families have a hard time being an addict is a very hard thing to battle.
One of the really important things that Cassell does, and I also have the privilege of doing, is being a part of that chain breaker, that those cycles that happen in families with drugs and abuse as well. When you said it happens in every community, so does child sexual abuse in our community. Unfortunately, it's necessary that we have that conversation. I mean, 1 in 10 children will be sexually abused by their 18th birthday, 1 in 10. And 90% of those children know their abuser. So that tells me that people that are close to the children are not educated in what's appropriate boundaries and what are not. So that's part of my position as well. And so that's what I always tell people when we talk about why are we talking about this? It's so, taboo to openly discuss it. When people ask me that, I say it's because we want to be cycle breakers. We want to be part of the change. And Cassell does a great job with that, with both child sexual abuse and drug addiction.
You know, it's gone on for years. This isn't something new. This is something that's been hidden for years.
True.
This has happened, and it used to be, well, you don't tell any of that. Well, to some degree, it still is, and then the kids a lot of times are embarrassed.
Yes, they're
And they
ashamed.
don't know who to trust.
Right. And when the one who is supposed to protect you is the one who's hurting you, it's a very confusing process for a child. They don't have the ability to process that information. And so what they feel is, number one, ashamed, but they also feel like, I'm going to break up my whole family if I tell this secret. And so it's really important for us to get the word out that this is, someone who loves you will not do that to you. And if they are, then we need to know so we can help you. And teaching adults how to protect children, that's the other thing that we believe very strongly, that yes, we want to teach children ways that they can protect themselves, but it's an adult's responsibility to protect children. That's we have the ability, our brains are fully formed, we can process information more than children, and that's our job, is to protect.
And along with this is also the fact that these kids and families that are I mean, if a family has to be broken up and you've got a mother or a father left with a number of kids, they have needs.
That's exactly right.
They do have needs, and we get donations to help those families with the needs, and then we also provide services to help families with their needs. And I wanted to talk about also child sexual abuse. I mean, the CAC is here, and that's one of the first reasons why it was here was to do the forensic interviews with children who have been sexually abused. I worked for DCS from 2003 to 2015, and in that time period, I got to watch the child advocacy centers come about. The one here came about in 2006. Prior to the advocacy center here, we would often have to go to the sheriff's department to do interviews with children and families, which was very terrifying for the children to have to talk about something intimate, terrifying, scary, sad, and they were afraid they were going to get in trouble or be arrested. They were afraid their families are going to be arrested because of the location where the interview occurred. The child advocacy centers help to provide a very family-centered, family-oriented, comfortable place for children to talk. There are comfortable couches. They have toys and stuffed animals and books to look at. And then the interviewer is a forensically trained person who goes to a training and learns to do legally defensible interviews, meaning that they don't ask leading questions and they don't put ideas in the child's head. The child gets to tell their story. And so the interview room is, again, a comfortable space for a child to talk. They have Play-Doh, they can draw while they're talking to help ease their minds and help that conversation move along with the interviewer. And then in the back of the CAC, we have the viewing room, which is where DCS and law enforcement sit, and they watch those interviews. Those referrals come from DCS, and so if it is something that's going to be prosecuted, you want law enforcement and DCS to be involved, and they help. The interviewer will come out and take a break and say, are there any other questions I need to ask? Because sometimes the interviewer might miss body language or something that the child might have said, or law enforcement might know something that they feel needs to be asked. And so together, they help work with those families, and that's also the beginning of the child's ability to heal. By telling their story, that's the first step that they get to have to heal.
And unfortunately, sometimes when both parents are involved with the drugs or whatever, the children have to be placed either with another family member or another place.
Yes, ma'am, that's true. And that's something that DCS determines. If a child is not safe in their home, then DCS will make that determination and they will place the child either with a family member or in a foster home.
But Cassell Services can still stay with those children if they are placed in another home. So they have that, or in a foster home. So they have that consistency of services and support, and that's one of the things that the Child Advocacy Center does really well.
We have a lot of parents, grandparents and aunts and uncles that are older that are raising their grandchildren and everything because of this. Well, their funds normally, they're not equipped to do this for young children.
Yes, ma'am.
So what I'm getting at is, like at Christmas, you always ask people to help a family out at Christmas. And this means not only the children, but there's household items and cleaning supplies and, if you don't have toilet paper, listen, that's bad.
Yeah. And you get requests for that.
When your wish is toilet paper, then things are bad.
Toilet paper, soap, shampoo, even dog and cat food, blankets when it's really cold outside. We get requests for all kinds of things that are so basic to most people. You wouldn't think that someone would, be asking for toilet paper or soap.
Right. And if there's babies involved, there's diapers.
Yes, ma'am.
There's, a number of things that you just don't think about.
And clothing.
And clothing. And, of course, at Christmas, I can't let them go without having toys because Sue and I one year took a family, but I was surprised because it was a lot of things.
Yes, ma'am. And we do a program where we ask for people to sponsor families, and we match the sponsors with the families. The sponsors don't know the families' names, they just know ages and gender,
Right.
so that they'll know what to buy. The family lists things that they need first, and then things that they want. We tell them, we can't ask people to buy you iPhones and computers and things like that. And so then we give the piece of paper to the sponsor, and they go shopping. They can bring things back wrapped or unwrapped. We have wrapping paper to give to the family, so mom can sit down and wrap all the gifts for her children, and that way she feels like she's a part of being a part of that. And so, but some families just really struggle to be able to do those things, and if they don't, some of these families don't have transportation. That's why I'm so excited to be able to do what I do, because I can go to those families and help them if they can't afford gas and don't have transportation to get the services that they need. I can take it to them, even if it's blankets or books for their children. I can do that too.
And that's why donations and fundraising is so important
Yes.
to us.
Well, it
at the
is when
center.
you
Yes.
do this type of thing. Grants are fine,
Right.
but usually those grants, once in a while you may get a 5-year one, but that's unusual. Usually
Right.
those grants run out, and then you've got to replace that somewhere.
Exactly.
Yes,
And the
ma'am.
need, if you do get a 5-year grant, that's great, but then in those 5 years, the needs always increase.
They do.
And so that's kind of where we are, is that, Cannon County, now we're getting the word out. We're here, Cassell's doing all these great things, but we definitely need help getting more services to people's homes, so absolutely.
I have to say something about Cannon County. Maybe there's a lot of people here that aren't aware of this, but Cannon County is a very giving community. It
Yes,
is.
absolutely is.
Your churches and your organizations, your Lions Clubs, American Legion, there's a lot of people here that step up for something like this if they really understand what it is.
I agree.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you're going door to door, that's a different program there, but if they're aware of it, they'll come out there and help,
I agree. This is my community.
seen
This is
that.
where I live. I live in Reedyville, and I've seen that firsthand. Neighbor helping neighbor. It's like when I was growing up, people know each other, they care about each other, and schools are small, so everybody knows everyone's story, and people come together, absolutely, and we've seen that.
Yeah.
We're really
I have-
excited to be able to be here.
I have seen that even recently, and I've seen people in the community come together to help a family who needed to relocate.
Yeah.
And it was just wonderful and amazing to me to see people. I would get phone calls, and some people didn't want us to know who they were, but they wanted to facilitate it through us. And so we were all together able to help a family, and this community just really came together in a way that I've never seen. I just really appreciated it.
I've been involved with several things I can't fault them for that. I'll tell you right now, we may have problems, but giving is not one of them.
Every
so-
community has problems, but
Yeah.
giving is not one of ours. You're exactly right.
So I have a question. So when's your next fundraiser?
Our next fundraiser is May 5th, and it is called Cannon Runs for Children. It is a 5K race. All of the money raised from that race goes to the Cannon County Child Advocacy Center to help us continue to provide the services that we provide here. We are currently looking for people that want to sponsor the event, that want to make donations, also people that want to volunteer and help us with the event that day. It will start at Dillon Park. Walkers will be allowed to walk around the track at Dillon Park, and then the runners will go down Doolittle and come back. This race, last year was the first year for the race. It occurred on April 1st last year, but this year it's going to be on May 5th. So.
And we have a Facebook page that where our link is to register for that, and it's Cannon County Child Advocacy Center is the name if you want to search for that on Facebook and like our page, but also register to. People are doing teams, like churches and different groups are doing teams together, and we'd love to see some people challenging other people out there to get out there and walk or run. We have space for both, and anybody that has donations of any kind for goodie bags as well.
Yes.
We're going to try to give out
We're gonna give
goodie bags.
Goodie bags to the runners. There will also be T-shirts.
Yep.
It's all about the T-shirt. I
It
think
is
that's
about the
right.
t-shirt. We're going to have some pretty t-shirts.
We're hoping to have dry fit, royal blue T-shirts. The
Yes.
artwork is being done by my
Featuring
husband,
Cannon County.
who is from Cannon County. They moved here in high school. His family still lives here and has a business here. And so it's going to be featuring a part of Cannon County that everybody knows and sees. So
Dun, dun, dun.
And then do you take donations year-round or just at Christmas?
we take donations year-round also. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
And just that information's on the website too then?
Yes, if you ever want to donate and want to reach out, you can reach out through Facebook. You can also call or just drop by the center at any time. It's
Yes,
on
you
Water
can
Street. Yeah.
Come by the center anytime. Our phone number is 615-563-9915. And
We don't call
I
ourselves
am in
very
and out a
often.
lot, and so I don't want people to think that no one's there. I do a lot of in-home counseling. Some children are homeschooled or are on homebound. I see some of those children in the morning, and then in the afternoons,
She goes to court a lot. Too.
out seeing children because I see them after school and after parents get off work, and then I'm in court some days too. So if I'm not there, just please call, leave a note in the mailbox that's right next to the door. But yes, we take donations year round, and we
Yes.
very much appreciate them too.
And everybody come out there, because if you don't want to run, you can walk around the walking
That's
track.
right.
You can, and it's for a great cause.
It
is.
I'm the first full-time coordinator that they've had here in about 7 or 8 years. For those of you out there that might remember Amanda Burks, she was the full-time coordinator when I worked for DCS. She was amazing. And so I'm just so thankful to be able to be in the position I am now.
I think Casella's
Well,
amazing.
one year, the cruise-ins, they have a toy drive every October, and people are real good about bringing toys, and a lot of times they'll just say, well, here, I couldn't get a toy, but they'll give you $20. And last year, it did go through the Angel Tree program, but it's not set on that, because I have given it to the Child Advocacy Center before.
Okay.
And, yeah, they had a whole room full of toys.
Wow. That's amazing.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Well, we can
Thank
definitely
you.
find homes for those toys.
Yes, we can, most definitely. And we keep toys in the center for
Yes.
children. When they come in for the forensic interviews, there may be sibling groups that are interviewed, and then there's also a time that DCS and law enforcement speak with their parents alone. And so in that time, children are playing with toys and looking at books. Some of them are talking to me about their experience, but it just helps them to kind of relax after, going through the process and being there and knowing what they're there for. So
okay, well, like I say, I hate to have this discussion, but you do. And you need to let people aware that it's in their community.
Absolutely.
And that we
Yes.
do have resources here
Yes.
for that.
yes.
Yes, and if you're interested in having your staff trained or any kind of training in your business or school, definitely contact us through Facebook, and we can set you up with the Darkness to Light training. It's a great training about how to prevent child sexual abuse, and we try to make it specific for your business or your facility so that you can kind of brainstorm ideas of how to do a better job of protecting kids.
And it takes a village
It
to
does.
do
It
that.
does.
And it does.
Man,
Ladies, I thank both of you.
Thank you.
And I'll probably
Thank you
see
very
you
much.
tomorrow, because
Yes,
they have a meeting, and I'll see you on the radio.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Both places tomorrow. That's all right.
Okay, I do have some events. Like I say, they get more and more as the weather gets a little warmer. Now, this is very close, but I'm sure this will probably be available to be seen. But on March 17th, the East Side Volunteer Fire Department will hold an all-you-can-eat ham breakfast with all the trimmings at East Side School, and that's on the old McMinnville Highway from 7 to 10 a.m. And I work with that group, and their food's great. And it's not because I'm cooking it. I do a little eggs, and I'll fry the sausage. The rest of it is done by the ladies. And we have the best biscuit maker in Cannon County, I believe, out there. So if you want to come, it's all you can eat, $7 for adults. and $5 for children. I think it's 12 and under. March 17th, Your Buddy Aaron Tessis is a tribute to Buddy Holly. That will be held at the Art Center. Showtime will be 7:30, and you can call the Art Center at 615-563-2787. And if you need information or if you need to buy tickets or reserve tickets, that's where you need to call. They have a lot of great shows and concerts that go on there. Tuesday, March 20th, the Cannon County Walking Horse Association will sponsor horse night. And don't bring your horse. It's horse night at the Lions Club building on Lehman Street. There will be experts there on horse care and telling you how to take care of your horse and diseases. There'll be featured speakers, and you can contact Bruce Steelman at 615-563-2554 for further information on that. This is one of my favorite events. Friday, March 30th, the Woodbury Lions Club will present the 11th Annual Princess Ball at the Senior Center from 6 to 8:30. This is a father and daughter dance or father figure. A lot of grandfathers bring their granddaughters. You can enjoy a DJ, disco lights, music, dancing, food, and fun. And just contact me at the chamber and I can give you some information on that. 563-2222. And it is for girls from 1 year old to 18 years old. So, and you can't bring your boyfriend. Your escort has to be 18 if he's your brother or your grandfather or your uncle or your father. April 6th through the 21st, and that will be Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. On Sundays, the matinees are at 2 o'clock. On Friday and Saturday, it's at 7:30. And the next play will be a comedy at the Art Center. It will be Flaming Idiots, and this will take center stage. Let's see, I had the date down here. Oh, April 6th through the 21st. Is when they will be showing that. And that's, like I say, that's a comedy. And everybody, I think, they look at that and they think, what in the world is this? But actually, Flaming Idiots was the name of a drink. So that ought to tell you something right there. But the matinees are at 2 o'clock, and that'll be at the Art Center. Saturday, April 21st through the 5th is the annual James Stemridge and Friends Pickin' and Jammin', and it's going to be held all around the courthouse in Woodbury beginning at 10 a.m. Everyone is welcome. If you have a guitar, a fiddle, a banjo, you're blowing a jug, whatever, come down there and be a part of it because they want everybody to play and have a good time, and it's free. Just bring your own chair and your own pop-up tent. Later that evening, I believe they're going to have several bands that are going to entertain you. So I don't know if you'll be able to join in on that, but you can certainly sit and listen to it. Saturday, April 28th, Cruising on the Square returns to the square. All cars, trucks, unique vehicles are welcome. There is no charge for the cruise-ins, and they will be from 4 till 7:30. And they're presented by the Chamber of Commerce and sponsored by DTC, who will also give away T-shirts, caps, and you can register for a 32-inch TV that they will award at the Color Fall Car Show in September. And I'm out of time, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.